Hi kids, talking movies today. I was recently listening to a podcast, and in their discussion, somebody brought up discussing maybe in a future episode a movie from like 1960 or something. And at least one of the other hosts, if not multiple, were like, no, we couldn't possibly do that. And it's like, okay, I get it. They want to keep things more fresh, hit the nostalgia with movies from like the 80s and 90s and all. And they obviously know their audience. And it's not really like a super like poking critique. But there was something about like, Jesus, really? We're just never going to talk about anything, pre-1960? And then I realized people can talk about whatever the fuck they want these days, right? These guys don't have to. That's their call. I can get in my car and hop on my phone, and here we are. So I was going to just throw out some random movies that are pre-1960 that I think are worth a look. I don't have a massive knowledge on the subject. I just have a handful of movies that I think are worth seeing. I'm going to start with the grandpapa, Citizen Kane. Now I can hear the eye roll, the collective eye roll. And I get it. It's been overblown and some really insufferable fucking blowhards just go on and on and on about it. I get it. Insert me right now. But there is something about it that is, I think, worth a watch. If you haven't seen it, try and sidestep all of that sort of hullabaloo and there's a lot of pretension associated with it. Like, I totally get it. But I will say, it's just a movie where the mechanism for presenting the story it's really interesting. It's just unique, and I haven't seen a ton of movies like it in that regard. With Mr. Thompson, or whatever the hell his name is, kind of wandering around trying to get information, only getting sort of bits and pieces, and only from people's recollection. It's just really interesting and fairly ballsy, I mean, for the time, but also, like, even now, that would be an interesting way to sort of present a story that's supposed to be like the summation of a person's life. The last thing I'll say is, from the technical side, there are all of these interesting innovations that happen, but there's one moment in particular. It's like a trick, and Wells was a magician, and it's like a trick of the camera, and there's something so whimsical about it. Basically, Wells is talking about the newspaper staff at a rival paper that he has coveted for a long time. And it's just, I'll play you the moment.
I know you're tired, gentlemen, but I brought you here for a reason. I think this little pilgrimage will do us good.
Chronicle's a good newspaper.
The Chronicle's a good idea for a newspaper. Notice the circulation.
495,000. But, Mr. Kane, look who's working for the Chronicle. With them fellas, it's no trick to get circulation.
You're right, Mr. Bernstein.
You know how long it took the Chronicle to get that staff together? 20 years.
20 years. Well, 6 years ago, I looked at a picture of the world's greatest newspaper men. I felt like a kid in front of a candy store. Well, tonight, 6 years later, I got my candy. All of it. Welcome, gentlemen, to the Inquirer.
It's just this really clever bit of filmmaking. Little things like that, little tricks are, I think, part of what makes it special and worth a look. But anyway, fucking newsflash, Citizen Kane is worth watching.